Okay. So, they are seeing that over this next week or two, they said there's this new influx of energy coming that can actually make us feel more fatigued or more tired than we normally would. They said the sunny weather and the changing weather and warmer weather, really, it does help. But they said don't be surprised if you actually are going to feel fatigued, a little bit more fatigued than normal. There's this whole new integration happening where we've spent so much time, for the past 2 months, most of us have spent so much time in isolation, right? We've all been at home more. We haven't been going out, and we've needed this time to help with this whole new energy integration, right? So from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, all these cellular upgrades have been happening over the past 2 months to help us in this transitional time. And they're just saying these next couple of weeks, you may actually feel tired. It's going to feel a bit awkward. Like, so many of us may feel like we're really ready and are just, chomping at the bit to get back into society and to continue on and be social. But they said, don't be surprised as things start to open up, how you might actually feel even more sensitive to others at this time. It may not be as easy as you think to just jump back into the way that it once was. It's because we've been changing at a cellular level, so it might actually tire us. We actually may feel more sensitive than before, and it all has to do with this integrational thing. So they said you may actually find yourself, even if you had plans to meet up with people, you may actually find yourself canceling or just deciding not to, or it might just take you longer to get back. It's like you take one step at a time to kind of reintegrate yourself into life as things begin to open up again. I hope this makes sense. I've so realized I was talking with my eyes closed there for a few minutes, but I'm trying to get exactly the essence of what they're saying here. So I hope that you kind of get what I'm saying with that. So we'll see if there's anything else. Yeah, they just said it can almost feel a little bit overwhelming to a lot of us. And they're even saying you might even notice that people, like the people that you are in your community and network, they may even feel a bit different. There's so much about this like changing energy, like people are either evolving or they're just a bit different, or you may sense people to be a little bit different than they were prior. That's another thing. Okay, so they're showing me that throughout this time, you can use the color purple. So you can use the powerful color energy of purple to give yourself a purple, almost like a shell when you're out. Okay, so give yourself a purple shield around your body, and they're saying that will help you with like an energetic and spiritual protection as well. And they're specifically saying purple. Okay, so the purple energy helps process energy with you and for you. Okay, so this visualization of and creating this purple energy field around you assists you in managing all of these changes at an energetic and spiritual level. And if anybody's had like ringing in their ears, high-pitched ringing in their ears, this is going to continue. It's part of the integration, okay? So you may get it randomly, or it may be often. You can always ask your angels as well to help you with the ringing, because sometimes it's an angelic communication as well. I don't know why they're saying this to me, but they seem to be mentioning that the Seattle, so the city Seattle in Washington is having a very hard time with this whole pandemic. I'm not sure why they're saying that to me. Okay, so they're just saying, so there's some of us in who are living in the Vancouver or Lower Mainland areas. A lot of us will travel down to Seattle for like weekends and just little mini holidays and day trips and stuff like that. But they're just saying they would advise you not to. So maybe no traveling to Seattle in particular for the foreseeable future. Okay. Okay, so back to this whole energy integration, they're talking about also changes at the throat chakra. Okay, so the throat chakra opening in this process. So people healing and working on their self-expression, their creativity, their exerting their boundaries. And they said one kind of physical symptom that you might feel as a result of this happening is almost like a burning feeling at the throat. But not one that makes you feel ill or anything like that. But it's like a burning, it's a burning feeling in the throat, or some heat here, or maybe your this area feels hot, or something like that. Okay, it's like an excess of energy happening at the throat to help open it. And they're just saying that again, like the citrus fruits and stuff, so like lemons and limes and orange and things like that, can be good for us right now. So maybe like hot lemon water in the morning, or maybe you're just adding it to your beverages or whatever. Okay, so back to the whole thing I was talking about, feeling the heart fluttering in the chest and some anxiety and things like that. They're saying that when you're feeling that, and maybe you do the hand over the heart exercise, you can also add in a pink energy here. So you can visualize a revolving kind of pink energy. So usually at the heart chakra, it's represented by green, but also pink. And so they're saying that this pink loving energy can help you with that. So next time that happens, just try and focus your visualization at a pink energy at the heart. Okay. Okay, so Spirit is showing me the zebra animal. Spirit animal, okay. Okay. So you guys are saying you're feeling fatigued, headaches, ringing in the ears. Yeah. Okay, so you get it. All right, so let's look at what the zebra says. Okay, so if zebra shows up, it means you're looking at things with black and white, all or nothing thinking, which limits your choices and flexibility. Interesting. So this could relate to when we were talking about the knot that some of us were feeling. Okay, so regarding the conflict you're having with someone, it's better to work toward a compromise than staying stuck in a right versus wrong standoff. Okay, so for anybody having issues still with communication, there you go. Be willing to question what you have up to this point considered to be your reality and any illusions you may have subscribed to. And in doing so, you will expand your consciousness. Interesting. So basically, how are you standing in your own way? Okay, so in any situation where there's disagreement, rather than being confrontational, try less direct methods such as persuasion, agreeing to disagree, or taking a time out to gain a fresh perspective. You're about to discover some useful knowledge that has been hidden or obscured, knowledge that will come to you without seeking, so simply be open to receiving it. Very interesting. So a lot of this has to do with that whole thing we were talking about when we first started about the knot. So there you go, that's zebra. So call on zebra when you're experiencing some conflict between expressing your individuality and being a member of a family, group, or community. You have to deal with a group process of any sort, such as a community project, and want to encourage harmonious interactions among the group's members. You've tried various solutions, but so far nothing has worked, so you need a fresh and creative way of looking at the problem. And you're feeling uncertain that the path you're on is purposeful, and you want to find out if it is. Okay, so that's zebra. Okay, interesting. There's always stuff about communication each week, which I find kind of neat. There's a lot happening at the throat chakra, I think, for a lot of us. So interesting on the zebra. Okay, so let's go back in. Okay, so Spirit is now talking about how they really are guiding us to, they say, encourage other people. So the people that you see like trying in some area of their life, they're really giving an effort to make a change or try something differently or take on a new perspective or learn something new. And they said when you notice that, they really want you to do your best to encourage that person with whatever it is that they are taking on. This is about recognizing, they're saying this is about recognizing the light in others and also encouraging them to shine their bright light. Okay, so many of us are light workers, and so this is one simple way that we can help raise the vibration, not only of ourselves, but in others as well. Okay, and they're also saying something else they're saying is that for a lot of us right now, we're being very, like, they're describing it as nitpicky about something, like too detail oriented or too meticulous, or just just nitpicky on something in particular. And they just said they are just guiding you to kind of just try and relax and let go of that. And like the zebra said, not being so black and white, just kind of taking a step back, seeing it from a different perspective, or seeing it in a different light, and just like taking the 30,000 foot view. So not being so tunnel visioned into the details of something. And they said on that, they also want you to, when you're doing this, they also want you to trust that things are unfolding the way that they should. So you're in the right place. Okay. And they're also saying that many of us are having like these grandiose ideas about what could go wrong in our life. Like a lot of us are focusing on kind of the worst possible situation. And they just said they just really want you to focus on what could go right. So just there's a whole change in perception or a viewpoint that they're encouraging you to do. So stop focusing on so much on the big picture of what could go wrong. They're asking you to change and move into a more positive kind of optimistic sense, because when you do that, you generate the right energy that you're looking for. So just a reminder. Okay, they're also showing me the elephant. Okay, so let's look up. I don't think we've had elephant before, have we? Okay, so we've got elephant here. So if elephant shows up, it means make it a point to be of service in some way to the young, elderly, or those less fortunate than yourself. Do not let anything stand in the way of attaining this goal that is so integral to your purpose. You have the determination and persistence required to overcome the current challenges you're faced with. Trust your senses, and if something in your life smells bad, take the necessary action to do away with it. Remain loyal to those closest to you in spite of anyone questioning their integrity. It's a good time to renew your sense of connectedness to the divine. It's always a good time, I'd say. So call an elephant when you're feeling alone and isolated from any sense of family or community. There are mental, emotional, or physical obstacles in your path that seem to block you from achieving your goals or following your mission. Okay. You're feeling tired, weak, or depressed and want more energy and vitality. You want to feel more confident. You want to increase your libido and encourage romantic feelings. You find yourself in a position of power and responsibility, one that requires you to be a strong and effective leader. Okay, so there is the elephant for you. So we have so 2 new animals so far: the zebra and the elephant. All right, so let's keep going. So they're talking right now to me about how many of us are learning to understand words. So the spoken word, so again, we're talking about the throat chakra. So the spoken word as thought energy. So the spoken word as energy. And they said many of us are learning to pay attention to words that are spoken, because when somebody says something that we receive, that it doesn't sit right, or we notice something about it that doesn't make us feel good, or it puts us off. They said this energy, it's actually, what's happening is it's sitting in the solar plexus and it's circulating, giving us these intuitive feelings of like almost like a warning. It's like our spidey senses, our intuition is telling us about the words that were spoken. And instead of just taking them on a surface level, we're actually taking the whole energy of the words that were spoken and we're processing it at our solar plexus. And this is another way for us to develop our intuition and read energy. So they're kind of saying, like, pay attention when somebody says things that you question, or you go, or you're not sure about it. Instead of like taking that energy and getting it, like moving it straight up to your head to overanalyze it, try and let the energy sink down to the solar plexus and speak to you differently. So it's less analytical and more, what is this really telling me underneath my thoughts? Like, what's the true intuitive feeling of this word energy that's coming from this person or these people or wherever? Okay, I hope that makes sense. So it's interpreting words that people say at the solar plexus, not over up in the analytical, logical mind. And this helps you like process energy from others a lot more quickly. And so they're saying on that whole thing, like, when that happens, don't immediately put your guard up, okay? So if something seems off with what someone is saying, especially if you're having any conflict or point of contention with anybody right now, you don't need to be guarded when you're sensing this energy, okay? They said you can just let it flow to you. Instead of letting it go up to your mind, let it go down to the solar plexus. Pay attention to those words, that word energy, and process it from there. So you can still let the energy move through your energetic field and process it at the solar plexus. But the key is that when you're processing it through your solar plexus, it moves through you more quickly. Okay, so usually what happens is if we let it get to our mind, okay, so our mental planes, it can ruminate for a long time. But if we process it at the solar plexus, it happens much more effectively and efficiently if you follow through with it. So if someone says something you don't like, or you feels off to you, or doesn't feel good, let it go to the solar plexus and then let it inform your next steps or your next actions or your response that way. Okay, I really hope that makes sense. But this is not about putting your guard up. This is actually about receiving energy, processing it, and letting it go. That's the whole key, is that we don't hang on to the energy of others. We don't allow the energy of others to kind of infect our space. We let it come in, we let it go out. Okay? And they're also saying that it also allows us to let go of hurt easier. Okay, so it doesn't linger with us. And it helps us move on faster, and it helps us realize that what other people are saying and doing and their actions are a projection of themselves. They're not reflective of us. Okay, so it's always a projection of them. We don't take on their energy as our own. They also said that you can take time to process this energy. It doesn't have to be instant. Okay, so I'm also getting, they're showing me the cardinal. Let's look at the cardinal. Okay. So here's the cardinal. Okay. So if cardinal shows up, it means someone needs your compassionate and loving attention and has flagged you down to get it. Stop right where you are, observe your surroundings, then notice the sensations in your body. This is a very creative time, one where it's best to heed your intuitive guidance as to how to express this creativity. Add color to your life in your home environment, your yard, and in your choices of clothing. And it also says this is a good time to make a fresh exploration of the religion you grew up in with your eyes and heart open. Okay? So call on cardinal when your life or the world around you looks rather dreary and you want to add some color. You've moved around a lot and want to settle down in one place for a stretch of time. You want to improve your diet and be more careful about eating the kinds of foods that are healthy and that your body requires. You want to learn to listen to your intuition more closely, but you're not sure how to go about it. And that's it. Okay, so that's the cardinal for you. All right, so I'll try and get one more message in before we have to end the live and then rejoin again, okay? So let's go in for one more. Okay, so they're talking to me about that this is a really good time to create space for yourself, for whatever that looks like. This could be sacred space, this could be like alone time, this could be, I know that seems kind of funny because we've spent the past 2 months, a lot of us, in isolation, but there's something about like a different type of space that allows you to turn inward and to do your inner reflections on what's going on. I think I'm feeling that this is really a time that we really need to be gentle with ourselves as we're integrating all this new energy for, and prep for this 5D kind of world. And so within that process, we do need to take the time to find this space for ourselves. So whether that means that you're rearranging your home or your physical space, or that you're cleaning and you're making changes to your home environment. So not only that, but it could also mean your own internal space too. So really finding and facilitating time for your own self-reflection, journaling, exploration, all of that good stuff. They said it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to suit you. So you're granting yourself that time, energy, and space to do that for yourself. And they said this is what helps you process all that energy that we were talking about. And so they're just saying, so learning to do all this processing of energy on a different level, like on a new way that you haven't done before, that's going to require not only this space that you create for yourself, but it also requires rest as well. So this is a whole new like balancing act of managing this new energy that's coming in, that's feeling quite bumpy right now. It's a whole kind of new learnt skill that we're all learning to manage. So just make sure, like we talked about earlier, that many of us can feel fatigued over the next little while. You do need the time to rest. So make sure you're giving yourself that time, not only to rest, but also to do that self-reflection work. So creating your own space internally and externally as well. And they're also just saying that when you do this, when you process energy in this new way, instead of letting it all go up to your mental planes, it allows for freedom of thought. So it opens up your thought planes in a different way that doesn't put you in an over-analyzing, ruminating, circular or roundabout thought pattern. It actually frees it up for more inspirational and higher vibrational thoughts. I hope that kind of makes sense. So you're freeing up your mental planes in a different way because you're processing energy around you differently than maybe you were before. Okay? I really hope that makes sense. I've got a minute remaining now, so it's 11:30. So as always, I'm going to, I hope you guys are all doing okay. I'm going to check in with you in a sec, but we're going to end this live and then I'm going to rejoin. So just jump back on with me. I'll restart the video in a sec and then we will keep going and I'll check in with you, okay? So I'll end it now and I will see you in just a few moments, okay? Sound good? All right, I will see you in a sec. Hello. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining so quickly. I appreciate it. So welcome back, and how are you doing so far? I just want to check in and see how you are receiving the messages, if what I'm saying is making sense to you, how you're doing, how you're feeling. Just let me know. And we'll do that first before we get back into the channeling. So let me know how you're doing. If things are making sense. Okay, so Jody says it makes so much sense. Good, that's really good news. I'm getting the thumbs up, awesome. Carrie says, I love your messages and can resonate with them a lot. Awesome, yay. Good, okay, awesome. I'm happy to hear that too, Yvonne, that's awesome. Excellent, okay. This is awesome. We're totally on the same wavelength here, guys, so that's good. I'm glad they're making sense for you. Excellent. So let's keep going for maybe another like 10 15 minutes or so, and then I want to get into your questions, okay? So hi, Candace. Okay, so Candace says, I joined partway through your last live today. Making lots of sense. I missed how everyone is feeling. I have so much energy lately. Oh, good. That's awesome. Some of us are affected so differently by either the new moon or the full moon. I find the full moon makes me more tired, and the new moon gives me, like, keeps me up at night. Like, they affect me totally differently. I don't know about you guys, but for me it's completely different. So Janet says, I never thought of journaling like that as a way to get that energy out of your body, and everything else is relatable. Yeah, absolutely. Journaling is extremely powerful. For me, it helps me a lot because I have a lot of energy moving at my kind of on a mental level for me all the time. So for me, that really helps. Candace says full moon usually makes me more tired, but this one feels different. Yeah, there's something, and forgive me guys, I don't know much about the moon and astrology and everything like that, but I heard there's something special about this. Was it the flower moon or something like that? There was something special about this one in particular. I know I don't actually read up too much on it, but would love to know if anybody has that info. Vasana says, yes, totally same. New moon makes me more energetic. Yeah. So interesting, right? So much going on out there that it's always under the radar. So glad you guys are kind of following along. So let's go in and see what else they want to say to us today, okay? Okay, so right away they're just saying over this next week they really want us to, with these feelings of fatigue and tiredness, and maybe you're feeling more lethargic over the next week or two. The sunshine does help, right? But they're just saying they really want you to pay attention to the grounding aspect. So making sure that you're doing like at least one grounding activity for your energy every day. That can be as simple as walking barefoot on the earth and exchanging energy with the earth, or just sitting outside with your feet on the ground and exchanging energy with the earth. There's so many different ways that you can do this, but they're just particularly saying while you're feeling this kind of extra tiredness or fatigue, that's a beautiful time to release the energy that's stuck in your energy field and get some more from the earth to replenish you, okay, and rejuvenate you. This is interesting. So they're telling me that over this next little while, like with all this changing energy and stuff like that, they're even saying like you may even notice that they're saying like telecommunications and technology in your home and like energy sources or electrical sources in your home might be kind of out of whack. So either like the internet's down, or like you got your like stuff in your home isn't working, like your lights or your TV, or like things will kind of be out of whack. So just know that this is like all of your electronic devices basically might be kind of wacky for a bit, and don't freak out too much about it. They're just saying they don't want you to be discouraged by all these changing energies and how they're affecting you personally and at a physical level, because they're just saying we want you to know you can still get things done. Like the world isn't stopping, kind of thing. So even though you're managing all these kind of uncomfortable physical symptoms, don't doubt yourself or underestimate yourself. You can still get things done that you need to. Okay. So just empower yourself as you're balancing and managing all this new energy that's coming in. They're telling me this little thing you can do called taking water breaks. So basically, that means like stopping what you're doing during your day and just going to like grab a glass of water and just be like really present as you're drinking the glass of water. So this is like kind of like similar to how when I was telling you earlier about how you can do that mini meditation when you're feeling anxious by putting your hand over your heart and just bringing yourself back into your body and just, you know, feeling a sense of gratitude for your human form at the moment. They're saying you can kind of do the same thing but with drinking water. So getting yourself a glass of water and just being really present as you do it. It's just another mini exercise, and not only are you doing something that's good for you, but you're getting yourself present in this little activity. I know that seems really simple and maybe even a bit silly, but there's power here in doing this. So and it's just also like making sure you're getting enough water, because water is also something that moves energy through the body, stagnant energy, and like fatigued energy too. They're just telling me that in addition to all of this changes on an energetic level, they're saying yes, one thing is about being like feeling fatigued or something over the next week or two. They're also saying that like forgetfulness is another thing that you may experience too. So like, you know, for example, putting your keys somewhere and then forgetting where you put them, and just like, you know, a little bit more than normal. So don't be surprised if you are, you know, you end up putting things in weird places and then you can't remember for whatever reason where you put them. It's like there's a little bit of scatterbrainness happening too, and just forgetting like where, you know, where you're putting things, or I don't know, there's something about that energy that could pop up too. Maybe not for everybody, but you may find yourself feeling a bit forgetful. Another reason to write things down. And for some reason, they're really encouraging all of us, especially with anybody that has kids right now, to be spending as much time outside as possible. They really want us to be outside. And I'm just asking why, other than, you know, the obvious reasons why. Okay, that's really interesting. So they were saying that so this is about the kids. So if anybody here has kids, they were saying that when you take your kids outside, so a lot of kids naturally are quite psychic. So for kids, the veil is very thin. So they are very receptive and aware of what's going on around them on a energetic level. And they were saying to me that the more time you spend with your kids, especially like your younger kids outside, they can be when they're out in nature and they're outside or in the garden or wherever, there's a lot of, for kids it seems like the and this is going to sound really out there, so I apologize / not apologize in advance. But there are spiritual beings that are more kind of like mythical. Oh, I disconnected and then I reconnected. Okay, so there are beings that are more mythical, like earth creatures, basically like mythical earth creatures. And I swear I'm I sound a little crazy right now, but it's true. And so they were saying that these beings of nature really connect with kids. So it's just a way for kids to experience life differently, and also to get them continued with a continued connection to nature and their own spirituality. So it helps them keep connecting in a different way where they might not even know that they're connecting. So it's just a whole different beneficial energy when kids spend time outside. They're connected to these mythical beings. So a lot of kids are really into like fairies and things like that. I know Tamra, if you're here, Tamra's little girl is really into the fairies and, you know, like fairy gardens and things like that. So there's all these different mythical creatures around nature. Okay, so the kids really connect to that. So that's one way that you can get them kind of engaged in their own spirituality. Okay, and it's fun. They love it. So that is why they're talking about going outside and spending time with your kids outside. Okay, and also, sorry, I keep disconnecting and reconnecting. See, I told you, technology stuff. That is when I've lost my train of thought. I can't even remember what I was just saying. What was I just saying? Oh, I was just saying that the springtime is they're particularly active. So these kind of mythical beings that we would find in nature, they're more active in the spring. That's what I was trying to say. So this is a good time to be out with them. They can connect at any time, but the springtime is a very good time. Okay, so you guys are saying, okay, so yeah, so Tamara says, yeah. So Kelsey says, Jacob loves when we go for our daily walks in nature. He can be super fussy, but is always super calm and happy when we go out. Yes, exactly. Amazing. Yeah, he's happy to get out of the house. Tamara says she loves her fairy garden. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so interesting, right? I don't think I've ever talked about that before, so that's kind of neat. How are you guys doing? Do you want to continue with some more general messages? Do you want to, like, a few more general messages? Do you want to get into personal messages? What do you think? Just let me know, comment, and let me know what you want to do. I will go off of whatever you would like. Okay, so we've got a vote for more messages. Okay, so Yvonne says more messages. Oh, good, I'm glad you find them interesting. They are interesting today, aren't they? More general. Okay, more messages. All right, I hear you. Okay. So let's go back and see what else. Sorry guys, I don't know if you've lost the connection there or not, but my phone keeps telling me I'm losing the connection. So I was just saying that they were showing me the pelican. This is hilarious. Okay, so here's the pelican. Okay, so if pelican shows up, it means this is an opportunity to forgive either yourself or someone else and release any built-up guilt or resentment. It's time to free yourself from whatever is weighing you down, whether possessions, emotions, or mental strife. Go ahead and take the plunge with respect to the opportunity that has recently presented itself. Focus on cooperating with others rather than competing, particularly concerning any project you're involved with right now. Call on pelican when you're feeling resentful or angry towards someone and you want to release it and lighten up. You're feeling overcome with heavy emotions and want to rise above them. There's an opportunity for you that looks, sounds, and feels right, but you need to move on it soon and trust that it's the right choice. You're faced with some trials and tribulations and need to keep your head held high. Okay, so that is pelican, spirit animal for you. All right, so a few new animals today. Okay, so if you have something in your life that is feeling you may notice that there's something going on in your life that is feeling redundant. So like it keeps showing up and it's like over and over and over again, hitting you in the face, hitting you in the face, hitting you in the face. And they're just saying that it's gonna keep going until you actually like face whatever that is. And you know how we were talking about the processing of the energy in a different way? They said it's going to keep hitting you until you actually get it. And then you process it and in the way that you're being guided to. So it's like either a repeating pattern or something. They're saying the word they're using is redundant. So over and over and over again. Okay, so something is going to feel redundant until you have the courage and take the effort to process whatever it is and clear the energy. Okay, so it's about processing and clearing, gone, and then it will dissipate. So this is all has to do with that solar plexus processing I was talking about earlier, okay? They said, so a gentler way of saying that is they're bringing it to your attention. Instead, I say it's hitting you in the face. They say they're bringing it to your attention so that you can clear the energy. So that there's a reason why it's happening, right? It's not to like punish you in any way. They're trying to bring it to your attention so that you work through it. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. So it is not supposed to be a negative thing. It's just neutral. It's you view it however you view it. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So we're talking a lot about the different kind of physical symptoms that we may feel, in our physical plane over the next little while here. One thing they were just telling me, in addition to all this stuff that we've already been talking about, was that they're saying that many of us will, and I'm not sure if this is just for women or if this is both for men and women, but I think it's mostly all women on this call. What they were saying is you may feel like there's this a rise in estrogen for some reason, like our hormones might be a little stirred up, so an increase in estrogen energy. Okay, and I don't know exactly like what that means or how that's gonna turn out for us or how that's going to affect all of us, but whatever that means for you, an increase in estrogen in our body. And let me ask, I'll see if I can get why estrogen in particular. So maybe this means that we will be a little bit more up and down with our emotions or our sensitivity, or I'm not sure. I don't know anything about hormones, so forgive me, but let's see if they'll say anything more on the whole estrogen thing. They're relating it to stepping into the divine feminine and an increase in our own sensitivity. There's something about how like stepping into the divine feminine right now is beneficial for us in some way. Like it's the energy that we need to be leaders in our own lives, and especially as light workers. So interesting to know if any of you feel like, is there any of us here that may feel like we put a mask on our feminine side? I'd have to think about that for myself. But do we put a mask on our feminine side? Yeah, Simone says yes. There's something around like much of our divine beauty comes from the feminine side, and so many of us mask that. Like we hide it. They're talking about taking the mask off the feminine and letting your true feminine side show. It's about embracing the feminine. Some of us may have trouble balancing our masculine versus our feminine, or with our feminine. But there's an encouragement here to embrace the feminine. They're saying about how being soft and gentle and receptive is just as strong as the opposite. It's just as strong and powerful as the masculine side of that. So they're talking about the need for the power of the divine feminine right now, and your feminine side. Okay, so clearly, like, this is the time to be stepping into that and not being afraid of it, not hiding it, not covering it up, not putting a mask. And like Carrie says, especially in business, yeah. So it's like, especially when it comes to any fields or careers that tend to be more of a masculine pursuit. There is power, they're saying, in balancing with the feminine. So it's like we need the feminine right now. We need that divine feminine power right now. So try your best to integrate that. Try not to hide your feminine, but to step into it. Okay, I'm just reading what you guys are saying. Yeah, so Yvonne says sometimes at work it's seen as a weakness. Exactly. Yeah, so what they're saying is it's not. It's just as, if not more powerful. Okay? So know that coming up over this next little while. And if you're feeling some fluctuation in hormones, maybe you're feeling more estrogen, it feels like this is to help you do that. Okay? So just recognize it and go with it. go with the energy, okay? And don't be afraid to use it at work as well. And how you do that, I'm not sure. But you guys will you will come up with it on your own, in your own way. So they're saying that when you step into this divine feminine, it's like they're saying you unlock this part or this area of your heart chakra. It unlocks the heart chakra. So some of us have been struggling a little bit with our heart chakra in the past little while, including myself. So they're saying when you step into that divine feminine, that divine being, like the divine side of your femininity, it unlocks part of your heart chakra, and this is going to help release some of that anxious energy some of us have been holding here in our chest area. And they're also talking about this as it relates to personal expansion. Okay, so it's expansion of the soul. For many of us, we're going to resist this for a while. We're going to resist it for a while. But they almost said it's like you kind of have to, the way that they were saying it is like you kind of have to just like pick a date and just like decide, this is when I'm going to step into my feminine, and this is how I'm going to express myself, or this is how it's going to play out, or how I'm going to integrate this energy into my life. So it's about not only balance, but it's like, how can I reintegrate the divine feminine into my everyday life, and how can I use it to empower me, not only in my professional life, but also my personal life, because I know at the end of the day, if I do that helps contribute to the opening of my heart chakra and my own personal expansion. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So wow, that was really neat about the divine feminine. So lots of changes happening on a physical and emotional and mental level right now. So I love it. I love that. Yeah. So much of this I'm going to have to be journaling on myself as well, and just see where I can do that too. So many of us are taught to put the mask on the feminine and hide it away from the world, but that's not what we need right now. We need the opposite of that. So hope that makes sense, you guys. How are you doing? Do you want to get into personal messages now? Since it's just after 12. And let me know what you think of those past couple of, if things are resonating and okay, awesome. So, excellent. So let's move into the personal, yay, good. I'm glad you guys like them. So, excellent. So let's move into the, oh, you're welcome, Yvonne. That's amazing. Good. Marissa says, my heart chakra has been blocked. I've been wearing rose gold as much as possible. Good. Yeah, that's excellent.